Let's bring in Texas Public Policy Foundation Vice President, retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Chuck DeVore. Chuck, it's great to have you on. I mean, the landlords have gone without income in the Bay Area for 3 years now. What do you think about this?
Well, when people in San Francisco and California in general decry the lack of housing, whether it's houses or apartments, this is one of the big reasons why. Who in their right mind would invest in a multifamily dwelling in California if you thought that at some point politicians would say, yeah, you know that rent or lease that you collect, yeah, you can forget about that for 3 years. I mean, this is utterly ridiculous. And the whole rhetoric surrounding this about greedy landlords, it's any wonder why there's any buildings left standing in California with this sort of rhetoric. How are people even paying to renovate or to maintain these buildings, much less pay for utilities and, of course, the mortgage, the payment on their debts?
Yeah, and it's exactly right. And I was thinking the same thing is, they keep talking about this housing crisis and then they just give landlords the raw end of the deal. California used to be the model for the nation. It really was. Well, now Jenny Schoitz of the Brookings Institute says the following here, Chuck. Every state in the country other than California is saying, I don't want to become California. And every other city is like, I don't want to become San Francisco. So now California has suddenly become, in housing and a lot of other factors, a cautionary tale.
It has become a cautionary tale. And what's interesting is you see in California the weaponization of things like zoning or the California Environmental Quality Act, where especially in the case of CEQA, which has been around about 50 years, you see it being manipulated by, interestingly enough, very powerful and wealthy interests, whether it's people who own housing or properties or the environmental group or even labor unions that will take and object to a new development under CEQA. Until, of course, they say, well, we'll build this with union labor, or we'll buy 1,000 acres over here and we'll have that as an environmental remediation. It's used as what's called green mail, Trace.
Yeah, it's green mail. You're exactly right. Texas GOP Congressman Brian Babin, your neck of the woods, Chuck, has introduced a no bailout for reparations act, quoting here, American taxpayers shouldn't be forced to pay for radical race-based reparation payments to please the woke left. Could this gain some steam, do you think, Chuck?
I certainly think it could, and I also think that reparations payments as currently countenanced may be a violation of equal protection under the 14th Amendment. I mean, this is crazy to think that Americans who have no connection to slavery whatsoever might be forced to give their tax money to individuals, many of whom may have a tenuous connection to the institution of slavery in America to begin with. And let's not forget, Trace, slavery is still a worldwide phenomena. It didn't end when America passed the 13th Amendment in the wake of the Civil War. We still have a significant problem, even down on the border with Mexico, where you have human trafficking and modern slavery to this day, with people owing thousands of dollars to these drug cartels, and heaven help you if you don't pay it.
Yep, it's amazing. I want to put this on the screen because Chuck DeVore's op-ed, read it if you can on foxnews.com. What China is doing in Cuba is a big threat to all of us. It is a great read. Chuck DeVore, always good to have you on. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, the San Diego City